Welcome on the Cosmic Atom. Be prepared. The wait is ended. What will happen next? Determine what remains in your life and what is permanently removed. If you felt that your life had been put on hold, it wasn't your imagination. The whole month of July has been a spiritual bottleneck, a compression chamber for souls trapped between ends that refuse to finish and beginnings that refuse to start. You've been sitting in the cosmic waiting room, feeling the weight of potential but lacking the will to act on it. Plans halted. People vanished without explanation. Nothing truly changed. Despite this, your instincts warned you that something huge was on the way, that something is not arriving. It simply plummeted. Heaven has stepped in. This is the checkpoint, which occurs in the last week of July. And if you understand what it implies, you will be more prepared to accept what comes next. There is no more waiting. There is no going back. You're already slipping. You haven't noticed yet. Right now, the Earth's energy is imbalanced. It seems like the whole plane of reality has altered, and everyone is either gliding upwards into higher timelines or slowly plummeting into the incorrect one. You could notice a peculiar velocity in your body, as if time is going too quickly or not at all. You drop things more often, and you forget what day it is. You feel like you're late for something, but no one has informed you what it is. That is not pandemonium. That is a pressure-driven alignment. The floor has sloped, and every little decision now bears significant weight. If you remain bitter, it will multiply. If you act with bravery, reality will bend around you. This is not a test. It represents a reversal. For others, this enthusiasm will accelerate their climb. Others will see their whole facade fall. The fact is that some individuals will only notice the change when it is too late. If you've been silenced, disregarded, or feel unappreciated, you're about to be reactivated. There's a reason why many of you have felt invisible for so long, not simply hidden from others, but nearly like the cosmos. Mute your life. The invites ceased. The spotlight faded. The messages you brought were received with blank glances or tossed aside as noise. And after a time, you began to think it was you. Perhaps your voice didn't matter after all. But what if the quiet was not a punishment? It was a shield. Heaven does not squander its messages. It conceals them when the frequency becomes too distorted. It calms them down when the world becomes too noisy to hear. However, the hiding season is over now. This week, the calling service is resumed. That inward pressure, you're feeling a sudden impulse to say something. Post a message. Confront what has been left unsaid for too long. It is not random. That is the signal. Heaven is clearing the runway and notifying you. Speak now. We will manage the repercussions. Your voice was never too much. The world simply wasn't prepared until today. Also, don't be shocked if folks from your past suddenly return. Not all of them are supposed to remain, but they will arrive with confirmation. They will reflect back the development they did not notice in you previously. Some will claim they never doubted you. Others will behave as if they have always known. But you will know. You will sense a change in your bones. This is the permission you've been waiting for. It has already been approved this week. You move from hiding to being praised. You are not merely permitted to talk. You are intended to. You're going to do something that terrified the previous version of yourself. On July 28th, the moon aligns with Mars. And this is not a general relationship. This is intuition and emotion colliding with fire and action. It is raw, it is straightforward, and it doesn't rely on overthinking to catch up. Expect to experience a sudden burst of lucidity, but not the peaceful sort. This is the kind of insight that might move you before you're ready. In a dispute, you may feel compelled to make a daring move, say something hazardous, or begin or conclude something unconventional. That is not impulsiveness. That is instinct. Finally, I'm breaking past my phobia. Do not question yourself whether you are ready. Consider the consequences of continuing to wait. This transition is not subtle. It clears the veil that has been obscuring your next move. For the selected ones in particular, this combination functions as a heavenly ignition switch. The courage you've been hoping for. It manifests in your body not as bravery, but as a need. You'll simply know it's time. Some of you may face this in your relationships, realizing you can't stay silent about what is upsetting you. Others will experience it artistically or spiritually, as if the thing you've been suppressing finally explodes. And here's the twist. It's not only about talking or acting. It's about ultimately understanding that your emotions have significance, that your inner world isn't a flaw, but rather a guide to your goal. Your body understands before your intellect does. Always. Your system is now speaking quite loudly. Perhaps you can't sit still or are pacing without purpose. Perhaps you're waking up at odd hours browsing without understanding what you're searching for, or having discussions in your thoughts that seem to have already transpired. That's not a distraction. That is preparedness. This energy does not just appear in the environment around you. It arrives in your neurological system. When something large enters the body, it begins to clear space before your conscious mind notices. That's why so many chosen ones are experiencing restlessness and unexplained chest tightness. This emotional tightrope walk where one moment you're all right and the next you feel like you're losing your skin. Restlessness does not indicate a lack of tranquility. It is the arrival of movement. Expect impulsive choices that will surprise you. You could feel finished with something, a habit, a person, a mentality, and instead of studying it as usual, you will just drop it. There's no great ritual or prolonged processing. Simply a clean, immediate release. You are not broken. You are ready. You'll also have unusual yet powerful cravings to tidy your surroundings. Rearrange rooms, get rid of outdated clothing, or even remove whole areas of your digital existence. That is not an aesthetic inclination. That's how your energy body organizes itself. You're creating way for a version of yourself that doesn't bear the same emotional weight or armor as before. It is cracking, not to make you weak, but to finally allow the genuine current to pass through. You're not falling apart. You're falling through to something lighter. Some may feel vulnerable, as if their emotions are resting on the surface of their skin, or as if everyone may suddenly see what you've kept hidden. The experience of emotional nakedness is frightening, but below everything, there is power. You aren't losing your edge. You're done pretending you need it. So, if anything seems strange, passionate, rapid, or painfully honest, believe it. This energy does not squander time. It comes to awaken the silent voice inside you. It was never whispered. It was a preview. You knew something was coming before the symptoms arrived, before the circumstances began to change, and before you could describe it. You have already felt it. That sensation of entering into an unnamed but unshakable moment. This week, everything of your inner knowledge will be verified by the world around you. Synchronicities will not simply happen. They will multiply. You'll start seeing numbers repeated with incredible accuracy. 1111, 222, 717. The type of timing that gives you pause. Mid-sentence. Not because they are miraculous, but because they are in sync. Your mind and reality are syncing. The physical fast expresses your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. And it won't stop with numbers. You'll experience déjà vu moments that make your stomach sink, as well as reactions that seem planned. These are not nice analogies. These are the echoes of the signal you've been sending. Finally, the barrier between idea and reality is not diminishing. It's gone. This is the week you look around and realize you were not acting irrationally. You were ahead. That sensation that something was wrong with your surroundings. You will know precisely what it was. That sense that something fresh was on the way. Even if your life seems to remain unchanged, you will begin to see it evolve in real time. Here's the bit that will either thrill or scare you, or perhaps both. From this point on, your alignment will attract things much more quickly than previously. What you allow will echo. What you resist will push harder. What you believe will start to manifest in practical ways. You're not thinking things into existence. You've finally reached a point where reality responds. The voice that announced that something significant was on its way. It was not a warning. It was a welcome. The world remembers what you muttered in your most vulnerable moments. Something has been going on behind the scenes for months, if not years, that you may not have noticed. You asked for these things in silence. You journaled about the shifts and then stopped praying since you didn't believe anybody was listening. They have been circling you the whole time, waiting for one thing. Energy alignment. This is the week when the lock finally clicks. Think of your life like a radio tower. You've been transmitting a frequency that reflects your hopes, anxieties, beliefs, and subconscious tendencies. And for a long time, the station you're listening to did not correspond to the reality you were attempting to call in. You want serenity, yet clutched on a turmoil. You desired love, but remained concealed. You want progress, but were concerned about the expense of change. The universe was not saying nay. It was saying not yet. Something has changed. Perhaps it occurred quietly, as a choice you made without fanfare. Maybe it occurred when you finally let go of something that was draining your energies. Perhaps it occurred during a breakdown when you were unable to pretend it any longer. Whatever it was, that change reset your frequency, and now the universe knows you again. This is the push, the mild but irrefutable force that makes things seem instantly easier. The door that opens while you weren't knocking is the person who finally gets what you're saying. The email that comes just when you're thinking about quitting up. The moment when you realize nothing was wasted. Don't be startled if things start moving that you forget you were waiting for. You may be thinking, why now? But the greater question is, why not now? You did not squander the chance. You were becoming the version of yourself that could hold it. There's a buzz in the air this week, subtle but constant, as if life is leaning toward you. Don't force things. Allow the current to draw you. You're not chasing anymore. You're getting. And whatever happens, keep this in mind. It is not random. It is the answer, arriving on time, dressed in a manner you may not have anticipated, yet always belonged to you. Something unusual is occurring. The energy that is overwhelming the earth in the closing days of July. Doesn't matter what you believe, how much shadow work you've done, or whether you've heard the phrase ascension this week. It is not about knowledge. It's about the frequency. Frequency never lies. There are individuals, perhaps even close to you, who have never touched a crystal, drawn a card, or viewed a spiritual movie. But they have lived from heart. They've been nice even when no one was looking. They revealed the truth even when it was uncomfortable. They have defended innocent, advocated for others, and walked with quiet honesty. And now they're going to experience something they cannot describe. A quiet serenity, an unusual clarity, and a knowledge that comes from someplace. Not the mind, and it strikes without notice. A soul in harmony does not need to be awakened. It just needs to be present when the frequency is met. This is what we refer to as a miraculous loophole. Heaven does not need your intellectual consent to touch you. It merely needs an open door. For some, the door was never locked in the first place. Even if they didn't have the words or context, they were always in silent resonance. So don't be shocked if unexpected folks around you begin to exhibit indicators this week. A colleague who has never shown an interest in anything profound suddenly begins discussing how something feels different. A family member who typically dismisses such discourse may confess to having peculiar sensations, as if something is about to happen. Someone who has. never been spiritual before, suddenly awakens with the desire to make a major life choice and believes it is correct. That's not a coincidence. That is contact, not from a guide or a teacher, but from the source itself. Pure, straight, and unadulterated. Heaven does not inquire if you believe it reacts to who you are when no one is watching. This week isn't about separating the spiritual from the non-spiritual. It's about demonstrating that spirit has always been there, weaved within the quiet moments of honesty. Unseen choices, to be honest. Small moments of choosing love over fear. And now those experiences are being rewarded. That also implies that you should not discount what others are going through, just because they do not speak the same language. A stranger who has a sudden surge of intuition. A buddy who makes a radical transformation that they can't explain. These are not coincidences. These are indicators. The light is reaching people without asking for their belief in exchange. So pay careful attention. This week will awaken more than simply those who are already awake. It will reach those who have lived truthfully and quietly. And they may climb quicker than anybody anticipated, because ultimately, it is not about knowing the road. It is about walking with a clear heart. During the last week of July, your soul will begin to awaken after dusk. If your energy is now upside down, you're not broken. You're tuned in. This week, a large number of selected ones have reported the same weird incident. Daily exhaustion. Electricity at night. It is not insomnia. It is not anxiousness. It's a change. You could sense it coming in gradually, as if your brain turned back on around 9 p.m. Your thinking gets sharper. Your sense of direction becomes more audible as the inner fog clears. Right then the world becomes silent. This is occurring because the cosmos is sending out its most concentrated broadcasts right now. After the sun goes set, night is no longer just a relaxation time. This is a reception window. The daytime brings loud requirements and diversions. However, at night, when the collective noise drops and fewer individuals transmit their frequencies into the grid, the signal improves. That's when you can hear again. That's when the downloads start. Not in hazy, mystical terms, but in straightforward interior clarity. Answers you couldn't understand before suddenly become evident, as does the choice you couldn't make and the terror you couldn't identify that night. Everything starts to solidify. Nighttime is no longer a stop. It's the genuine beginning point. You may also notice bodily indications, spurts of inspiration, a strong need to write or contemplate, or a restless want to move or communicate. Even if your chest feels like it's humming faintly, this is not an issue with your body. It's your neural system plunging into a deeper stream. You are not fatigued. You're growing more sensitive to what lies under the surface of the world. And there is more. Your soul most likely decided to awaken after nightfall, because this is when deadlines are relaxed. The barrier between choice and manifestation is now smaller. When the sun is gone, what you experience at night causes roots to grow quicker. What you chose at night is likely to stay. That is why it is important to pay attention to what you think about, write down, and tell yourself when no one else is there. This is where your future is silently being formed. You're not only awake, you're also aligned. So if you find yourself awakening after sunset, do not resist it. Let it lead you. This nighttime lucidity is a blessing, but it will not stay forever. Use it to record whatever comes up. Say whatever has to be said, because when the sun rises again, your next chapter may already be written. This week is more than simply a shift. It is a prize. You didn't anticipate the silent struggles, the times you retreated when no one noticed, or the seasons of seclusion that seemed more like exile than rest. The sorrow that resulted from learning how much you needed to let go of in order to be in harmony, rather than from a broken relationship. And here you are, not perfect, not fully clear, but ready. This last week of July does not mark the beginning of your adventure. It's affirmation for all you've gone through to get here. You have been preparing quietly while others have pushed ahead noisily. You've been mending behind the curtain while the world whirled faster and faster, convincing you that you were slipping behind. But your spirit knew. This journey was not about speed. It was all about time. And now the moment has come. This is the week when your inner labor becomes visible on the outside. What comes next may not be explosive, but it will be unmistakable. You will start to sense the universe meet you halfway, not in huge cinematic moments, but in tiny confirmations that resonate deeply. The right individuals locate you the appropriate messages, and they arrive at the perfect time. Internal concerns that once yelled are now quiet echoes with little weight. Don't be startled if life suddenly starts cooperating with your spirit. You have earned it, because this is the truth. Many will not inform you. Not everyone who requested a shift is able to go through it. Many will become locked in loops, not because they are awful people, but because they were unwilling to commit their whole selves. But you let go. You faced the mirror. You revealed the truth, even if it cost you. That is why this alignment is named. Yours? You did not recover just to return to your former self. You healed to become someone you couldn't have imagined back then. This week, things begins to make sense again. Not because it is easier, but because it is more aligned. You'll feel the unseen gears lock into place. You'll find that you're no longer questioning every step as you used to. You'll stroll into rooms and no longer wonder whether you belong there. You'll realize you do, not out of ego, but because of clarity. So if you've been feeling a buzz under your skin, if the breeze seems different, or if your instincts are louder, you're not alone. You're about to arrive. This is the last week of the lengthy, quiet preparation. The universe is not just urging you to go ahead. It ultimately says, now we'll walk with you. The prize isn't just what happens next. When it arrives, it becomes part of your identity. And you're ready. If you're still watching, I want to express my gratitude for your attention. If you love the article and would want to see more, please consider clicking the subscribe button. Your support is much appreciated. Please feel free to share your experiences or views in the comment section below. Until next time, take care and sign up for more insightful content. Dear viewers, your support through Super Chat and membership is the only source of income that keeps this channel running. If you want me to continue uploading valuable content without delays and to stay motivated in providing you with the best wisdom, I need your help. Every contribution, big or small, makes a huge difference. Feel free to donate and support Pure Wisdom so we can keep growing together. Your generosity keeps this journey alive.
If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, you not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.